And we're off. How's everybody doing? All right, all right. We're off here in the studio today. Appreciate every one of you who have been following and watching the videos. This is my third video in Riverside FM, and I appreciate Riverside FM. Let me get a good look at it. The screen. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. Yeah, we just did the series and completed the series, and thank you guys for your feedback out there. God, I have a lot of people who friends and who are members of the channel and watch all the time who are actually wanting to go buy the Gnostic Gospels. And I told if I haven't told you, I will tell you. You can do that. That's great if they have the book. I have one of them. The one I have, I wouldn't advise for anyone to keep because there's better ones. I have the Bart Ehrman. It's got ones that are good, but it's got a lot left out. A lot of ones that were going to be canonized. So yeah, the Nag Hammadi one where it says that right out front is a very good one to get. It has pretty much all of them in there. I kind of looked it up and it looks like the best one to have. But thank everybody in that West Coast Uncensored land, all you guys that are watching and really paying attention, and anybody new, as I've seen a few people added that have stretched out the platform with the magic clips, trying to just get better at doing what I'm doing. Because I noticed the last time I recorded, I looked at it and I noticed that it was some definitely some things that were there that I would it was too small for the YouTube, but when I watched it on other platforms, it was okay. On YouTube, though, on my TV, it was very small. I'll try to correct that and keep the screen size bigger as I actually, because on this platform, I could use my phone and I have this really, really lovely, I appreciate app that Microsoft doesn't allow and have. Why not? I don't get it. I even noticed that this Riverside FM is not uploadable as an app on Microsoft, and I'm like, but it's definitely in your phone, whether you're Android or any of those. It's there. I actually put this on my what I'm saying this, I actually put this on my phone to the app because the phone had my app and my newer videos because I have this one on my phone. This really good. I really like very user friendly, and this is a really good user friendly. But there's still more to learn for me because I'm looking for music and instruments to play, and I noticed that I didn't. Then sometimes it was, and that I'm going to put it on me because definitely a novice, but trying to maneuver through here on Riverside FM definitely helped me with a issue I had, which I probably caused, being the novice that I am and doing this and doing that, and probably setting things off. But the reality is, some things just did not come like I want to. But if you watch it on YouTube, and I believe if you watch it on your video, you can make it bigger. It's probably okay. If you watch it on the phone, God, it looks so small. So, but there's this app called InShot on the phone, of course, not available on your computers. And I don't get that. The more and more I look at that, I don't understand that why this is not branded into that. But anyways, it doesn't surprise me. But anyways, if it doesn't surprise me, what does this do if I touch it? Nothing. Okay. Is that I ran my videos from my phone, uploaded on my phone, and sent it to InShot. And then I love it's just a really friendly way to edit your phone. And I put it through there. But I noticed the TV one was very small. YouTube on my TV was very, very small. So I'm going to look to correct that. If that might even be me with the size of the InShot being bigger. But anyways, enough of that for that. But God, welcome in. I appreciate all you guys, the unity and oneness of these gospels we just seen. Man, powerful. This 5-book series of John plus the review we just did, to me, was powerful. So I kind of looked and there's so much good stuff to do. I was thinking of smaller books so we can get through it. But man, there's some other books that are maybe a little longer, kind of like that. I might have to do a series. And if I do, that's fine. I don't mind doing a series. It keeps me busy and organize what I'm going to do. Because I do have some other thoughts, some stuff I need to share that I had found out recently that wouldn't have anything to do with this, but does have everything to do with it. If you get my drift, and I'm not talking Tokyo drift, you're understanding that the wind that comes and goes, that goes down and goes up, right? The changes that it has with the dualistic plane. And when I woke up to what dualism is, I found out it's a paradox. Everything's paradoxal. But anyways, and definitely Gnosticism hits on the duality aspect of this. But anyways, so I got another reading to share. I did pick another book. And this book there's some really powerful books I want to share. Sophia, the Jesus Christ and Sophia. But this one is the origin of the world. So does that sound good? Does that sound like, ooh, what could that be for those knowers? Those who have activated their revelation or their gnosis are like, what is that? What is that? Yeah, it's some good stuff. So let's get in. Let's look at this. So let's share and be patient with me if I share. But I think I know what I'm going to do when I share. Here we go. Here we go. I see what it did. They wanted something from me. They got it. And here we go. I was like, what am I running into now? But I'm not running into anything. Let's get me off the screen for me. You guys will probably still see me in a corner or something. But we're gonna get into this. This, I believe, it's called the. Isn't this the? Oh, it's not. I thought I put that there. Isn't this it? No, no, no. Let's see if I can go back here. We are looking for a certain book I want to see. And this certain book is going to down here more. Sorry about that. I thought I went there before. The way this is kind of set up is not. That's a good one too, but I will. There's a Sophia, Jesus Christ. This one is. This first thought too is really powerful. In the last video we did that. Let's go back into the. Let's go here. I know it's in one of these places. Be patient. Here we go. The origin of the world. We'll start with that one. And I thought I put this up before. Then maybe I didn't. No, there it is. The origin of the world. So here we go. We'll read it. Before the beginning, let's start here. Right here, if you can see that. Since everyone, the gods of the world and the people, says that nothing existed prior to chaos. And we kind of seen that in the Gnostic Gospels, right? Nothing existed prior to chaos. I'll make that a little bit bigger so you can see. I shall demonstrate that they all are mistaken, since they do not know the origin of chaos and its root. Here is the demonstration. How agreeable it is to all people to say that the chaos is darkness, but actually chaos comes from the shadow that has been called the darkness. The shadow comes from something existing from the beginning, so it is obvious that something in the beginning existed before chaos came into being, and that chaos came after what was in the beginning. Let us all consider the facts of the matter, in particular what was in the beginning, from which chaos came. In this way, the truth will be clearly demonstrated. See, I can use this too. This is called the birth of Sophia and the forces of darkness. After the nature of the immortals were completed out of the infinite one, then the likeness called Sophia flowed out of the pistis with the wish that something would come into being like the light that first existed. Immediately her wish appeared as a heavenly likeness with an incomprehensible greatness. This came between the immortals and those who came into being. After them, like was above. It was a veil separating people from the above things. Now the eternal realm of truth has no shadow within it, because the immeasurable light is everything within it. Outside of it, however, is a shadow, and it's called darkness. From it appeared a power over the darkness, and the powers came into being afterwards, called the shadow, the limitless chaos. From it, every kind of deity was brought forth, one after another, along with the whole place. And even in science, when something's created, it creates a chaos to create it. As you know, even in a lab, that's something that would happen. The chaos would be part of it. So that outside darkness, which was chaos, when it starts moving, it does bring forth, like even the physical, the land, the earthquakes, when things start forming, mountains, rivers, land, it creates a chaos, right? Even the volcano would be a type of chaos. Very powerful than what we were taught in the Rome version. I like to call it the Rome version because it is the Rome version. Where are we at? In the abyss, which is derived from the pistis, whom we have mentioned. I'm gonna check something here because I haven't read this book. I have listened to it some, I'm going to do a little etymology check right here, if you guys don't mind. On the Yes, that's how it's spelled. Let's do it this the way then. Cancel. We'll go out. We are going to do in Google pistis, meaning pistis primarily signifies belief, trust, and confidence, often with the implication of reliance through Christ. Pistis core meaning, pistis encompasses both intellectual assets of the truth like the gospel, and the trusting, committed relationship is used to describe the connection, the encompassing of intellectual and trustful commitment beyond belief. So it's pretty heavy that the pistis. There's a book called The Pistis of Sophia. So let's go down. We went to the eternal realm, right? We were down in the float out there. In the eternal realm, no shadow, because immeasurable light is within it. And we read that from consequently, the shadow appeared in the abyss. We read that shadow perceived, I think we're right here. Shadow perceived that there was one stronger than it. It was jealous. And when it comes, so it's the higher realm of the pleroma. It became self-impregnated. It immediately bore envy. So the self-impregnated would be definitely androgynous thinking, which really is a core thing before the physical. Feminine and masculine energy create electrical currents and flows that are invisible even to now. Even now, I see a light on my camera. I go to my TV, I hit the controls, and the TV channel changes, right? Well, that's light that I don't see with the naked eye. It's actually infrared that changes the TV channel or the box or your Roku or your cable, whatever that may be. Jealous impregnated immediately bore envy. So the jealousy with the shadow produced an envious child, or a seed of envy. Since the day the principle of envy has appeared to all icons and their worlds. But envy was found to be aborted fetus without any spirit in it. Without any spirit in it, it became like the shadows in a great watery substance. Wow. Remember, the water goes deep, but it's also very dark. When the bitter wrath that came into being from the shadow was cast into a region of chaos, since the day the watery substance has appeared, what has enclosed the shadow flowed forth, appearing in chaos, just as all the useless afterbirth, the one who bears a little child fails. Likewise, the matter came into being from the shadow we cast aside. Matter did not come out of the chaos. It was chaos existing in part of it. Interesting. So we already see this is going to go right into Yadabaoth. Yadabaoth establishes rule. Now, this is the next part. And now, after these things happened, Pistis came and appeared over the matter of chaos, which was cast out like an aborted fetus. Wow. Since there was no spirit in it, for all of that is a boundless darkness and water of the unfathomable death. When Pistis saw what came into being from her deficiency, she was disturbed, and the disturbance appeared as something frightful, and it fled to her in chaos. She turned to it and breathed into the face of the abyss, which is beneath all of the heavens. So the abyss, that darkness, because this feminine caring aspect of Pistis is even connected to, it's the feminine aspect of Christ, Sophia, which when we get into the Jesus Sophia Jesus Christ, which is another book, it's going to really connect the aspect of the feminine. And as we know, as Christianity came into being in the canonized books, Rome, 325 AD, Council of Nicaea, Demiurge, aspect, just facts are facts, that we've been the stamping out of the pure feminine aspect, which is the creative, which is the birthing, which is the spiritual, which is everything that flows, like even your intuition, which is not made out of logic thinking of putting things together that makes sense like a math equation. But when your intuition comes out of nothingness and nobody knows how you got the logic because it's not birthed by logic, she's worried because she wants to gather all her children, because there's a thing called care that is a huge feminine aspect. She was disturbed, and the disturbance appeared as something frightful, and it fled her in the chaos. She turned to it and breathed into the face of the abyss, which is beneath all the heavens. Now when Pistis, Sophia, notice the Pistis is connected to Sophia, So when you take that aspect of what I read pistis is and add it to Sophia, which is wisdom, feminine aspect, wanted to cause the thing that had no spirit to be formed into a likeness and rule over matter, over all its powers, which had no spirit to rule over its powers. And I think about this scripture, I think in Romans, the prince and power and the darkness of the air in the canonized version, this goes with that to show you the powers that are not ruled by spirit, which is the God of this world, which the canonized scripture uses, which we see as governments. And I believe it's First John says, neither love the things in the world, for the love of the Father is not in you, right? Well, when you go into what that world is in the Greek, it means two things. The world isn't the terra firma or earth or that. It's not. It has nothing to do with that. The world word in this is, come on closer, spiritual, religion, and governments. That's what it's talking about. Religion and governments that come from, when controlled, they go hand in hand together. Government will produce a religion to control the masses. That's the first program. Facts are facts. This is not new programs. This is way even before Rome. Everybody that had power, when you start getting into any type of society that becomes huge, this is the program they use. This is how you control the masses. Think about this. This has really hit me. How do you think that, and this goes to me to hand in hand, these gospels do. They get down to the nitty gritty. They start revealing right away. They don't play patty cake. Let's hold something back from you. Let's put a veil over you. It starts to become unveiled when you read this. That's why a bunch of people couldn't really sit here and read this, because of their belief systems, their indoctrination. They're going to, and it's not for them. It hasn't chosen them. The same as Jesus telling them this when they said, what about everybody else in the mysteries of the kingdom? He says, not for them. It's your time. But anyways, and you can see that this is happening within the outer essence of what happens within religion and government, the control and the boundaries, and not and then a strict teaching of almost like, the 12-step program of obedience and control through your 12-step program, exoteric knowledge. Simulac that becomes old, first of all, Simulac is like, it's not organic. Then when it gets cold and rotten and no good, it's hazardous to your health, right? Let me start. This is good stuff. I'm just revelating on this, seeing how this even works today. This stuff is classical music. I'm telling you, older music that's timeless. This is gospel. I mean, you're talking 2,000 years old. I even read a thing I'll share with you today through Oculus, was there's even people that believe that these gospels were even way older than Christianity. But anyway, so where we at? Something frightful, Sophia, caused the thing to be formed. And no matter what, overall its powers, a ruler first appeared out of the waters, lion-like in appearance, and like I said, androgynous, and with great authority within himself put ignorant whence where he came into being. When Pistis Sophia saw him moving in the depth of water, she said to him, youth, pass over here, which interpreted, I think that means Yaldabaoth, as Yaldabaoth. Youth, pass over here. So you can even see this God's youth and needs instruction to where to go, but he's in power. The one that needs instruction where to pass over here, pass from your ignorance into a higher realm of understanding, is the one in charge. That's chaos. Think about the manifestation of chaos. We see it outside of us all the time. We do every day. We see it. Yaldabaoth. Since the day the first principle of the word referred to the gods and angels, people has appeared, and the gods and angels and the people constitute, which came into being by means of the word. Moreover, the ruler Yaldabaoth is ignorant, no knowledge of the power of the pistis. He did not see her face. She was hid in the mist. But he saw in the water a likeness that spoke with him, and from the voice he called himself Yaldabaoth. So all he sees in his ignorance is himself. Ego, too. Aspects of ego. Not seeing the higher state of being. Not seeing your connection to your mother and to the spiritual aspect of yourself within. Not acknowledging and even seeing it. But the perfect ones call him Ariel because he was And after he came to possess authority over matter, Pistis Sophia withdrew up her light. Wow. And see, it kind of goes into some of the stuff we've seen earlier, right? When the ruler Yadabaoth creates heaven, earth, and bears three sons. And this kind of was in the first book of John too. I mean, in the secret book of John. When the ruler saw his greatness, he saw only himself. This makes sense that the ego sees itself, and that's why he goes around saying, "I'm the only God." But it has no wisdom. He saw nothing else except the water and the darkness. Remember, this was about the darkness and the chaos connection. When he thought that he alone thought that, notice the word, he thought that, didn't know, he thought that he alone existed. He thought he was made complete by the means of the word, and it appeared in a spirit moving to and fro over the waters. And that, where's that at? That's in Genesis, right? Ooh, Nelly. This is good stuff. This makes sense for them who rebel, for them who are in their little, are still indoctrinated, bearing that burden of the rivers of forgetfulness, which is sad. That's what you're going to see. You're going to think and have thoughts and have belief systems. This is even connected to a belief system. He was made and appeared as a spirit moving to and fro, like what we said. When the spirit appeared, the ruler separated the watery substance to one region and dry substance to another. From matter, he created a dwelling place for himself and called it heaven. And from matter, the rule created a footstool called earth, and that's Genesis. Wow. The heaven is his throne, the earth is his footstool, Yadabaoth. Wow. Afterward, the ruler thought according to his nature and created an androgynous being by names of the word. He opened up his mouth and cooed to him. When his eyes were opened, he saw his father and said, "Ye." So the father called him Yao. Again, he created a second son and cooed. He opened up his eyes and said to his father, "E," and called himself Eloe. And I may butcher these words now when some of them. And again, he created a third son and cooed, and he opened his eyes, and his father said, "As." Almost looks like ass, but it's extra ass. As. So his father called him As Taf Eos. These are the three sons from the Father, 7 heavens of chaos. 7 appeared in chaos in androgynous beginnings. They have their masculine name and their feminine name. The feminine name of Yadabaoth is forethought. Remember, forethought, and this hasn't been mentioned in this one, as it was in the secret book of John, was Barbello. Thought and forethought was the first thing from the emanation from the all, or from the God, monad was the first thing that came from it was forethought, and it was called Barbello, and then forethought and thought was first, and forethought came. So he's copying that which is above, but at a lower realm of chaos. The copycat. That's why we see this system always copycatting AI with organic. Everything is a copycat, but reverse engineered to not be the legitimate reality. Come on now. You knowers know exactly what I'm talking about. Just let that simmer and sink in. So what are we seeing? We're seeing this over and over and over, even outside of us in the so-called outside area, right? Of that systems, the matrix, the world, chaos. So you can see he's already trying to emulate, but with no wisdom. And as he starts emulating, he goes down. So there's the second son, Yao, feminine is lordship. And I tell people all the time, we always want to say Lord Jesus and Lord. That goes hand in hand with blue bloods, which we did a series about everything blue blood, right? How even the names of all the blue bloods, what it was connected to, as we broke that down. And I even said, why did I even do that? When it hit me one day that Donald Trump's son's name, right? And I go, Barron Trump, and it hit me. Barron is a blue blood title, not necessarily a name. And then I looked it up, and I even did a series showing you these blue bloods. Lordship is aspect of the blue bloods, except the 2 highest parts. Notice that. Creating its caste system. He called it down. Feminine is divinity. Sabaoth's feminine is divinity. Adionos, feminine is kingship. Elionos, feminine is envy. And there's that envy past. Arias, feminine is wealth. Astaphoa's feminine is Sophia. So even a copy of Sophia, which is his mother, is trying to emulate a false Sophia, which would be the wisdom, a false wisdom, which would be really ignorance really dressed up well, which we know Sophia is the feminine aspect of Jesus or Christ. Wow, this is really good stuff. There are 7 powers in the 7 heavens of chaos, and they came into being as androgynous being according to the immortal pattern, and existed before them in accord with the will of the pet, so that the likeness of what existed from the first might rule until the copycatting, cookie cutting, but cooking cutting not with the goods. You'll find the function of these names and powers of the males in the archangel book of Moses, the prophet. But the feminine names are in the first book of Noriah. Now, since the chief creator, Yadabaoth, has great authority, he created his sons by the world, beautiful heavens as dwelling place, for each heaven great glories, 7 times exquisite. Each one of has within it his heaven thrones, dwelling places and temples, and as well as chariots and spiritual virgins and their glories, looking up in an invisible realm, and also armies of divine lordly, right? And you're talking also, this is going into order, angelic powers, myriads without number in order to serve. The report concerning those who will find accurately is the first book of Aya. Now they have completed this up into the 6th heaven, the one belonging to Sophia, and the heavens and earth were distributed by a troublemaker. And beneath all of them, the 6 heavens trembled, for the powers of chaos knew who it was who distributed the heaven beneath them. And when the pistis knew of the harm caused by the troublemaker, she blew her breath, and she bound him and cast him down to Tartaros. Wow. Isn't Paul of Tarsus? Boasting of Yadabaoth. Since the day the heaven has been consolidated with its earth by the means of Sophia, the daughter of Yaldabaoth, who is beneath them all. After the heavens and their powers and all the governments set themselves aright, a chief creator exalted himself and was glorified by the holy army of angels, and all the gods and their angels gave him praise and glory. And he rejoiced in his heart, and he boasted continually, saying to them, I do not need anything. I am God, and there's no other God but me. There you go. Where else have we heard this at? Huh? Yeah. This really makes sense to me because a lot of the stuff I was seeing a number of years ago, into the fact that it was just making sense. I was having these meetings with these 3 other brothers, and we would have these group phone calls. And at this time, about 2.5 years ago, we were seeing 2 of them in their 30s, one in their 50s, of these brothers we were talking. And we were talking about the Old Testament, and we were just discerning the inconsistency of that Old Testament, of being jealous, of saying one thing and doing another, of glorying in bruising his son, and glorying in you didn't obey me, so you ate your children. Or we just started looking at it, and them being younger looked at him in kind of nowadays talking, how they put it in the streets. And I was like, which I will not say what word they used here. I was like, but I was seeing it. I'm just like, and then I even looked, I go, in the New Testament, Jesus ain't like his papa of the Old Testament. And I was saying this character is always just don't kill him all. I mean, just inconsistent. And then jealousy is a low vibration of frequency, because if you do it, you're a low sinner, and that's sin, and you're without it. So there's some inconsistency. You sound like an immature teenager more than you do a God. And then saying there's no God besides me, it's more like jealous because you lack self-esteem. And we were seeing this, and I didn't know about, and this makes total sense to me when I really put this together. Wow. He rejoiced in his heart and boasted, I do not need anything. I'm God. There's no other God but me. And when he said these things, remember, he's seen nothing but himself in his ignorance. He sinned against all the immortal perishable ones, and they kept their eyes on him. Moreover, when Pistis saw the impiety, the self-righteous, he was angry without being said. He said, you're wrong. Samuel is the blind God, and enlightened immortal human exists before you and will appear within your fashioned bodies. The human will trample you as a potter's clay is trampled, and you'll go with those who are yours who are yours down to your mother, the abyss. The abyss is again going into chaos. For it is a consummation of your works. All of the deficiency that appeared in truth will be dissolved. It will cease. It will be something that never existed. After Pistis said these things, she revealed the likeness of the greatest in the waters, and so she drew up her light. Look at this. Yadabaeth worships Pistis. Let me see where we're at. I know I was on a little bit before that. Let's read a little bit more. This, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I kind of knew it would go farther. It does before it ends. Yeah, there's a lot to this one. There's a lot in this book, even today. Yeah, this is a 2 or 3 series for sure. See the 7 sons. We will finish with this right here because I can see this already is definitely for when so Sabbath, which is one of the sons, the son of Yah, heard the voice of Pistis. He worshipped her. He condemned his father and mother on the account of the word of Pistis. He glorified her because she informed them of a mortal human and the light of the human. Then Pistis Sophia stretched forth her finger and poured upon him the light from her light for the condemnation of his father. When Sabbath received light, he received great authority and all the powers of the chaos. From all the great authority against all the powers of the chaos. Since that day, he has been called the Lord of powers. He hated his father, the darkness, and his mother, the abyss. He loathed his sister, thought of chief creator, and one who moves to and fro over the water. One account of the light and all the authorities of chaos were jealous of him and were disturbed. They made a great war in the 7th heavens, and when Pistis Sophia saw the war, she sent 7 archangels from her light for Sabbath, and they snatched him up from the 7th heaven and took their stand before his servants. Furthermore, he sent him 3 other archangels, established the kingdom for him above everyone, so that he might dwell above the 12 gods of chaos. Then Sabbath received the place of rest amongst his repentance. Pistis also gave him her daughter Zoe, the great authority, so that she might inform him everything that exists in the 8th heaven. And since he had authority in the first, created a dwelling place for himself in a huge, magnificent, 7 times great wall that exists in 7 heavens. In the front of the dwelling place, he created a great throne on a chariot with 4 faces called the cherubim. And the cherubim throne had 8 shapes of the sides of the 4 corners, forms of lions, bulls, humans, and eagles, so that all the forms total 64 forms, and 7 archangels stand before him. He is the 8th, having authority, and all the other forms totally 72. For from the chariot is 72 gods who took shape. They took shape so they might rule over the 72 languages of the nation. By that the throne created other dragon-shaped angels called seraphim, who glorified continually. Sabbath creates assembly with Jesus and the Virgin. Let's see where we're at time. That might be where we'll start number 2. I think we will start number 2 there. Yes. Let's go back to here. And this is really, really good. And yeah, we're at the 40-minute mark, so that's good. I felt it. I thought we were probably even less than that, but it makes sense. So we're going to start with that part right here. Sabbath creates assembly with Jesus on the next one. If I don't do something else first in between, because I might, but I'm going to feel about that right now. So let me stop sharing and see how this works. All right. Yeah, you guys, awesome video. Let me see if I can make this even larger. Wow. Can I go back in there and make this? Let's go back here. No, let's go back here. No. But you guys, let me go ahead and stop. Have a great day. This was the origin of the created world. Probably not in that language. The origin of the world, according to Gnostics. And you guys have a great day, and we will get back to part 2. We'll definitely do part 2 if we don't do something else before then. But definitely part 2. There's something I want to put out about AI I found very interesting. But you guys have a great day. Appreciate you.